New year, new you. That's what we all say, right? I'm sure many of you are deciding to hop on the diet, fitness, I'm gonna lose weight, change my body, start being healthier, quit smoking, treating my animals better, talking to my kids again train. So I thought now would be an excellent time to kind of just stop you in your tracks. Whoa there, Bessie. Slow your roll and chat about why it's probably not a good idea for you to add a new restrictive diet to your list of New Year's resolutions. So in today's video, you are going to learn what a restrictive diet is, why I don't recommend it, and why my recommendations are so thoroughly and insanely backed by mountains and mountains and years and decades of research. And lastly, I'm going to share with you some healthy and sustainable options that will help you permanently reach your New Year's goals so you will never have to make them again. Think about wearing a very tight pair of pants. It is cutting off your circulation. Your skin is hanging out over the pants. Sure, you can put them on and you can fit into them if you like lie down and do the whole sucking in and shimmy shamming and zipping up the zippers, but you're gonna be walking around in actual physical pain and feel uncomfortable for the entire day. Wearing restrictive pants is not sustainable. Can you do it? Yes. Will you fit into those pants? Yes. Will you be miserable the entire time you're doing it and eventually rip those frickin' pants off, set them on fire, and put on your sweatpants? Yes. Restrictive diets are just those pants in food form. So restrictive diets can be restrictive in a couple different ways. Number one, and the most common, calorie restriction. You have something called a resting metabolic rate. It is literally just the amount of energy required to keep your body functioning and keep you alive. In my Nutrition 101 course, where I'm going to be talking about all the basics of nutrition, you will learn about RMR and what it is. I'm not going to talk about it here, okay? We got other things to focus on. If your resting metabolic rate is 1,500 calories a day, that means that's what your body needs to keep your body functioning. If you are eating a diet that is 200 calories a day, which so many of these restrictive diets are and weight loss programs and yada yada, you are not eating enough food to keep your body functioning. That's a problem. Another way diets can be restrictive is by completely cutting out entire food groups, all for the sake of weight loss. So you have to cut out all of these foods, missing out on a multitude of nutrients. Lastly, restrictive diets can just have a bunch of arbitrary, really weird rules, like you can only eat at a certain time. You can only eat this type of food if it is this type of product. Like you can't have milk, but you can have milk if it's A2 milk or if it is organic or freshly squeezed from a cow down the street. It has all these weird series and steps, like first 2 weeks you eat nothing but cabbage, and then the next 2 weeks you layer on a bit of chicken breast, and you get the idea. And what makes these types of diets restrictive is when the rules make it difficult for you to eat out, eat with your family, go grocery shopping, and the diet actually causes you harm and stress. When I talk about do not do restrictive diets, I'm not talking about a mild caloric deficit. I'm not talking about gradually increasing your physical activity. I am not saying that all diets don't work. I am talking specifically about restrictive diets. And why I'm talking about restrictive diets is because the majority of you out there are doing those restrictive diets. And before anybody sits here and says, how dare you judge me, guess who has 2 thumbs and has done practically every diet this side of the Mississippi? Okay, that's this guy. I have pretty much done every type of diet where you didn't have to pay to use it because I didn't have money. And all of them worked, and then none of them worked, which is what you're gonna learn about today. Spoiler alert, the science supports my exact experience. People who diet tend to yo-yo diet. Just like a yo-yo going up and down, that's what people do with these diets. They lose weight, they gain weight. Then they go on another diet and lose weight, and then they gain it back. Researchers call it weight cycling. The pattern that people follow with restrictive dieting is so common that a timeline has actually been mapped out when compiling all the research and the data. And it has 3 distinct phases. The first phase is the losing weight honeymoon phase, and that lasts anywhere from 1 to 6 months. The problem with these diets, why they are so insidious, is that they work. They absolutely work initially. Nobody is saying that you will not lose weight eating 800 calories a day. You absolutely will. But the only way you would continue to lose that weight is if you are literally like locked in a room and it is beyond your control. And even then, weight loss will slow. After that 1 to 6 month honeymoon period, you hit the infamous wall, the weight loss plateau, if you will. Your body has a whole bunch of biological responses when you suddenly start dropping weight. And that is because your body's number one responsibility is to keep you alive. And that's it. Not even keep you healthy. And when you drop that much weight, or you are eating a ridiculously low amount of calories where your body can't even function like it normally can, it starts setting off the alerts. There's a famine, we're not getting food, we still need to go about doing our job. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shut down all of these other processes that we deem not as important to life so that we can conserve energy and keep this person alive. The Endocrine Society has a whole scientific statement about this, mapping out what the body does in these cases, and I will leave a link to that in the description if you want to get more details. And people can notice this physically when they aren't eating enough food or they're on a restrictive diet. Their hair gets drier, maybe it starts falling out, your skin dry, maybe you're breaking out. Your energy, period, is not as good. You can still function, but you don't have the energy that you used to. Maybe your brain is a little bit foggy. You can still think, you can still do things, but you're just kind of off, right? Maybe you're getting sick more often than you normally would because your immune system is actually being affected by this. So in the process of your body shutting all these other things down, it also reduces your resting metabolic rate so that you don't require as much energy as you needed before, because your body's concern isn't, let's make sure she fits in a bikini. Your body's concern is, let's make sure she's alive. And this is the weight loss plateau that you experience. And so many of us, when we hit this weight loss plateau, we think, oh, we need to eat less, but you're just worsening the situation. You told your body it's in a famine and you're like, oh, P.S., it just got worse. What do you think your body's gonna do? A perfect example of this actually being recorded in research is the infamous Biggest Loser study, where they followed up with Biggest Loser contestants and found that the majority of them had either gained back all their weight or gained back even more of their weight. And you may think, oh, it's because they got lazy, they got gluttonous, that's what fat people do, right? Idiot. No, that's not what happened. It was observed that their resting metabolic rate dropped so low that they could not possibly eat the amount of food that it would take to keep them alive and exercise enough to stop their bodies from retaining fat mass. After they gained back all their weight, which according to all the fitness bros and all the sciencey, it's just calories in, calories out, man, people, according to them, because those people gained back all their weight, their resting metabolic rate should have gone back up to 2,400 calories a day. Well, guess what? It didn't. What that is showing is that potentially going on highly restrictive diets, drastic diets, could long-term or permanently affect your metabolism in a negative way. After the weight loss plateau honeymoon period ends, we enter the third and final stage of weight regain. A more recent meta-analysis investigated whether or not these weight loss programs worked long-term, came to this conclusion, that 50% of individuals attempting a restrictive diet will gain back all of their weight within like a year and a half to 2 years, and that 80% of individuals will gain back all of their weight or more within 5 years. So let's think about this in a different way. If I told you that I have this method of birth control that You have to drive to my office every day, which is a big pain in the ass, and you got to sit in traffic. And I take this humongous freaking needle and inject it into your butt, and it's painful and horrible. And for the rest of the day, you're in pain, which sucks because every day that means you're in pain. And also there are these side effects where you're hungry and your brain is all kind of foggy and you're tired. Oh, and also it costs money, like hundreds of dollars. If you do all of that, there is a less than 20% chance that you won't get pregnant. Y'all wouldn't do that, right? It sounds ridiculous, but that's what all of us are doing when we continue to try these restrictive diets with the hope that we're gonna be different. We're gonna be part of that 20% or less, and I actually think that number is a bit large. And even if we do make it, to understand that we'll still have to go through all that pain and suffering to maintain it, but we do it anyway. Why? Think about it, you guys. Open your mind. Look around. Look at all the people you know who have dieted. How many diets have they tried? How long have they been doing this? Are they happy? Are they obsessing over their food? And if they have been successful, have they only been successful because they are literally like putting themselves in a straitjacket of what they can eat and when to eat it and how often? I honestly think the reason why we are willing to put blinders on to the truth of whether or not these diets work is because we are so desperate. And the entire multi-billion weight loss industry banks on the fact that you are so desperate that you cannot listen to reason and realize this diet ain't gonna work for me. And the second thing they bank on is that their diet won't work for you, because that means you're coming back. Repeat customer. So that's the timeline of restrictive diets. What do they do to your health? So we've already discussed the fact that it negatively impacts your resting metabolic rate. We are seeing that these restrictive diets negatively impact your thyroid gland, which is known as the master regulator of your metabolism. They also put people at risk for various nutrient deficiencies, because when you are cutting out entire food groups and not replacing those foods with alternative foods that have those nutrients, you may be developing a nutrient deficiency. If children are doing these restrictive diets, adolescents, and trust me when I say that they could be impairing their growth and development. These diets can also lead to food phobias, such as an eating disorder called orthorexia that is not technically classified in the DSM yet, but trust me, it will be. And many of you can attest to the fact that restrictive diets can lead to just plain old disordered eating or developing an eating disorder. A 2018 16-year prospective cohort study that checked in on over 4,000 individuals every 2 years for 16 years found that people who yo-yo dieted more frequently than others were more likely to have higher blood pressure, be obese, and have higher hemoglobin A1C than those who did not. They also observed an association with weight fluctuation going up and down and higher mortality risk. Lastly, they observed that people with obesity who yo-yo dieted more than people with obesity who did not yo-yo diet were more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. So far, we know that most of you are going to be failed by these diets because these diets do not take into account that your body is a biological organism built to keep you alive, and that it has all of these fail-safes, if you will, to prevent you from drastically losing weight. And we also know that they may have short-term or long-term negative impacts on your health. If you have decided for whatever reason that you want to lose fat mass on your body, let's stop using the term weight, okay? Because weight includes your bone mass and your muscle and your organs, and we don't want to lose those, right? We want to hold on to that. And you have made this decision for you and not because of some BS standard that has been set by the media, and you're like, cool, I'm ready. You have a choice to make. This is very important. You can do it fast and hard, potentially putting your health at risk, not feeling good, being miserable, not being happy, while also rolling the dice that you might be the less than 20% that is successful for more than 5 years, but you'll lose fat quickly. Or you can do it slow and steady by making small behavioral changes, not drop a bunch of weight immediately, but also not put your health at risk actually improving your health and maintain your changes for the rest of your life, comfortably and sustainably. This one doesn't sound as sexy. This one doesn't sell freaking weight loss programs, but this one will get you to change your life as opposed to change your body for a short period of time. If you want to change something about your health, you have to change your lifestyle permanently. Period. End of story. .gov. Period. www.com. Firstly, you can watch my videos. I have videos where I talk about why you're hungry, how to stay full. I'm doing an entire Nutrition 101 series to teach you all about nutrition so that you can learn the basics of that and know how to support your health from a nutritional perspective. But I'm also a noob and I am slow at getting these videos out. So there is a plethora of registered dietitians on social media where you can go to their sites and follow them on social media and get a whole bunch of really beneficial information from a variety of specialties. I'm going to link some of my favorites in the description below so you can go check them out and get a bunch of free, awesome advice. Do not follow a diet created by somebody who is not an expert in nutrition. Most of the fad diets out there are not created by experts in nutrition. If you have insurance that covers it or you can afford it, make an appointment with a registered dietitian. You will get personalized care and they will help you to meet your health goals in a healthy, sustainable way. I am also leaving a link in the description to a site where you can type in your zip code and find dietitians in your area based on specialty and whether or not they do telehealth and all of that. Cool. Lastly, I really recommend that if you are going to choose between the fast and hard and dangerous and not really guaranteed or the slow and safe and totally guaranteed option, to take this one. Pick one behavior that you feel is not serving you to meet your health goals and work on changing that. It could be something as simple as currently you are not physically active at all. Okay, so you are going to make the goal that you are going to go on a 15-minute walk 3 times a week. Once you get that down, you increase it. Now it's 30 minutes. Maybe it's more often. Maybe you drink a 20-ounce Frappuccino from Starbucks every morning. Don't cut it out, just experiment with making it a 12-ounce Frappuccino. And once you're comfortable with that, work on maybe trying a cafe latte. Start small, pick a behavior that you know you want to change and work on it. If you're gonna do this, you should definitely check out my video where I explain how you can increase the likelihood that you'll meet a health goal using science-based principles. It's super easy, it's 4 steps. You may think that making these small changes aren't gonna make that much of a difference, but listen, I did not come out of the box like this, okay? Back in my day, I ate Burger King every day. I was living off French fries and strawberry milkshakes. I thought I was a chef because I made mac and cheese on the stove. It has been a long journey for me. And the only way I got to where I was now was forgiving myself when I stumbled and just picking myself back up, making small changes that were very easy for me. I hated vegetables, so I started with adding cheese to vegetables so that I could eat them. And eventually I just kept gradually tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it until now I'm somebody who I could literally just steam broccoli and eat it and I think it's delicious. Making small incremental changes is what's going to get you to making eventually lifelong humongous changes. So those are all my recommendations for y'all. I have nothing more to say. I am done. I am tired. My mouth is dry and I'm hungry. Okay, so Happy New Year, everybody. I hope 2023, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna curse it. Knock on wood. I'm not even gonna say it. Forget 2023. Who cares? It's just another year. Have a wonderful rest of your week and I will see you in the next video. Bye. See, I start a sentence and then by the time I get to the end, I've already forgotten what I'm trying to say. Today you were gonna learn about, I'm never gonna finish this intro. Oh my God. And what the mountains and loads and decades of, they also observed it. They observed it. They saw it. Why can't I speak? Is there a piece of sugar on this microphone? What they observed was that people, I can't do this, oh my God. All that weight gained back, then it was, did I just see a ghost? Am I hallucinating?